We just think that human connection is so integral that AI will mostly be supercharging them, not replacing them.
So Zillow's got a couple of different AI tools. Can you walk us through how the platform has changed and where it's going from here?
So Zillow's been, an AI-focused company from the beginning. Obviously, many people think of the Zestimate and also how we think about search ranking. I think the current wave is not hype. It's definitely very real for us. The improvements we're making are not only affecting, buyers and renters as they go through the whole flow, but also we're doing a lot behind the scenes with agents and loan officers. And it's a mix of AI that's very visible, like, hey, you could fly through a floor plan, as well as behind the scenes, making the kind of tasks that you don't want to be spending time on a lot easier.
And what kind of tasks are we talking about? Like what things are being simplified? Is it like the search tool is getting more conversational, or what does this look like?
Searching and finding a home is still incredibly complicated. You have to think about all your preferences, all your requirements, what you can afford, what neighborhoods are out there, places you haven't been, all the above. And so one of the biggest things that we're investing in is natural language search. Before generative AI, a lot of the techniques were old school natural language processing. And now with transformers and the like, we can make that experience much smarter. So it's just more intuitive. And then on the agent side, agents really sell themselves by that personal relationship and that guidance that everyone needs to move, and yet have to spend a ton of time basically coordinating and nurturing people who aren't ready to move, as well as in paperwork mode. If you've moved, all the title and escrow stuff, all the transaction stuff. And so AI can help in both poles, helping people like get going, as well as helping the transaction actually finish, so that the agents can focus on the, hey, what should we tour? What should we offer? That kind of human-to-human connection.
So one thing I think is interesting here is that, people probably don't think of real estate as a tech business, but I think it's probably fair to say that Zillow is a tech company, right? Like it's an online platform. How much of the user experience of going to Zillow.com is interacting with AI now? And where's that going? Like 5 years from now, do you think AI and interacting with chatbots is going to be a much bigger part of the platform, or is it something that creeps in more slowly depending on how people react to it?
I think we're at the kind of like teenager phase of this wave. And anytime there's a new AI technology, it usually starts with what we've witnessed with generative AI of everything's going to change, like hold on to your hats, tomorrow's going to be different. And then you get to phase two, which is like, hold on, all of our ideas aren't really coming to pass as fast as we thought, or maybe in the ways that we thought. And we got to figure out what the long-term path here is. And so my take is, I think we're kind of at the Alta Vista level of generative AI, where there's something there, there's definitely value, but we haven't figured out the right UX model for this long term. We are trying to figure out how much a chat experience can help guide people, as well as, the more traditional property search information retrieval story. We need both. And it's sometimes complicated to figure out how they work in parallel. And so that's something we're looking at a lot. And then also, we think there's huge amounts of opportunity behind the scenes with agents and loan officers in their workflow. They're already spending a lot of time clicking buttons, doing these tasks. And so we're more bullish on how generative AI can adopt that kind of UX than necessarily a pure chat experience.
So this is, a much broader question, really about the state of the world. But if we, compare Zillow to how real estate used to work, I think a lot of the work that Zillow does is something that a real estate agent would do. But if, 18 months from now, OpenAI says we've solved the AI problem, we've got, a general intelligence available, can do everything a person can do real estate agents go away then? Like, would that be a good thing? Is that even something that comes into the consideration when you're thinking about the future of the product?
My belief is that real estate, like human real estate agents, will always be at the center of a buying transaction. I think the incentives are very aligned with this one because, what slows these human agents down is a lot of these more basic tasks that we're talking about. And their goal is to rocket forward with how many successful transactions they get a year. It's almost like the parallel of the Microsoft and Google co-pilots. They want AI basically unblocking them to spend more time with their customers. And then all the customer research, all the actual buyers, we see time and time again after they successfully moved, their biggest, most important element was having that great agent guiding them. And these conversations are happening at the dinner table, they're happening after the soccer game. We just think that human connection is so integral that AI will mostly be supercharging them, not replacing them. For most people, 90% of buyers, this is the biggest financial transaction, and half of them are doing it for the first time. And so there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of questions, and having someone, a human, be able to explain and guide you through is so important.
In general, can you tell us what types of AI or machine learning tools Zillow is using? Like, is it mostly language models, or I imagine there's a bunch of different things?
It's the whole gamut. There's everything from deep learning neural models to more traditional ranking recommendation models to, of course, generative AI, large language models, to your point, and even some more basic ones to like figure out scheduling and which tour you should go to in which order to maximize your time actually in the house. And so a lot of our job is trying to figure out which tool for the job and not just assume that one model out of the gate is the right answer.
We hear so much about, this apocalyptic stuff that once, AI gets good enough, it's going to, replace the need for human labor in general. Does that keep you up at night? Like, I'm not really convinced that, we've gotten to the place where that technical problem is going to be solved even in the medium term necessarily. What do you think? Is that something we should be thinking about?
I am like you. I am not losing sleep over this. I mean, you remember the previous AI waves with deep learning and convolutional neural nets? We were like, oh goodness, here we go. No one will have a job. We all still do. When you're in it day to day, to your point, you see how brittle it can be, how much it needs to improve to even be good at what we'd expect it to do today. And so, no, I don't see us all losing jobs or getting replaced. I think it will more be helping us on the side, guidance, co-pilot type stuff.